What is up, everyone? Today we're breaking down the amazing Billboard Top 25 Best Pop Stars of the 21st century. And of course, we're going to be talking about who got the number one spot. The amazing, the wonderful, the talented, the girl who could do no wrong, and honestly, has done no wrong, Taylor Swift. Hold on. Whoa.
Wait a second.
Wait, it's not. Hold on. It's not Taylor Swift. Wait, it's Beyonce.
What?
Hold on. I need a minute. I need a minute. Hold on. Billboard needs to fix this. I'm seriously gonna have a mental breakdown about this. My name is Ice. I already got my pitchfork in hand. With us, as always, is Dixon. Despite the circumstances, how the hell are you?
Oh my gosh, we are shocked. You're shocked. Shook. How could this be?
Oh my God. My Taylor didn't get no. I got to write to them right now. Who wrote this? Who wrote this article?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's shocking. Isn't that shocking? It's incredible. Man.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
I couldn't believe. I mean, I couldn't believe it either. It's craziness. And yeah, seriously, you make a really good point.
It is crazy, but then, Dixon, we talked about this a little, BTS, but it's not really crazy who got the number one spot when you really think about it. But
you're right.
I guess we'll get into that.
We will get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that. And we survived Thanksgiving, peppermint patty lists. Hopefully all you out there had no moments of that nature and to bring down your holiday. But before we get into all of these good things, we have our comment of the week with Ice and Dixon.
All right.
So this comes from Zoe Page Luna, PhD. that's her YouTube name. And this is on our anniversary show where we talk about some of the things that we've talked about over the last several years, and our title reflects pretty accurately about this channel, and it kind of comes full circle to your intro, is that Taylor Swift fans hate us. Yeah. Dave Matthews Band fans hate us. U2 fans hate us. Everybody hates us.
Made a lot of enemies, yeah.
and a lot of friends along the way.
Yeah. It's not all bad.
So Zoe Page Luna, PhD says, don't recommend channel. With these kind of like these little symbols, almost like a colon.
As if she's like pressing, doing the action, like pressing the button. Don't recommend channel.
Yes, it's that, and then with the laughing emoji next to it. So it could be made sarcastic. Zoe, really appreciate your sense of humor.
Yeah, thanks. We like humor too. We like pushing buttons every now and then. So that was a good joke. I'm sure she's subscribed to us. So we appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Luna. Really appreciate it. But yes, that's our comment of the week. So underlines our point that we have a little we ruffle some feathers there every once in a while. So it's all good.
It is what it is.
It's all fun. So that was our comment of the week.
Good stuff. So now, Dixon, you told me about this. Earlier this week.
Yes,
and
it just came out this week.
And I was looking through this, and I was actually kind of surprised at what I saw. And of course, we're talking about the Billboard Top 25 Best Pop Artists of the 21st Century.
Mm-hmm,
so, in case no one knows when that starts, it starts in the year, it was 2001 and onward.
Yeah.
So
right.
So let's just think early for 2000 on, pretty much. So.
There you go. Exactly. And it's the truth. Beyonce is number one, followed by, I'd say, probably a close second.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift. Now, you mentioned that it's sort of not the best, but the greatest pop stars of the 21st century. So I want to look at the criteria real quick. And so the criteria, this is coming from Wikipedia and everything else. The greatest pop stars of the 21st century list is not mathematically determined using chart position, streams, or sales numbers. The ranking is determined using factors such as acclaimed works, music videos, live performances, social media presence, cultural importance, industry influence, and overall omnipresence. These factors are measured over all 25 years of the century so far. Now, I think in one of our videos we talked about, I think I pointed to some objective data that would kind of point to the Rolling Stones being the greatest artist of all time, the greatest band of all time, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think some of those things included longevity, tours, albums, sales, all those kind of things. So I think that's parallels what they're saying here. But I would say a lot of these things are I don't know. I think it seems more subjective, although everything else, this could be sort of objective. I mean, the music videos, okay, who's going to say the music video is good or not, I guess. Live performances, I guess the number of performances, sales, everything else, social media presence, whatever, industry influence. Those are all, I think, things that you could probably measure objectively, but it does sound like there's a subjective twist to it, which I think is even more surprising that Beyonce got this top spot, not our girl, Miss Swift.
It is kind of surprising, and I was kind of looking at the kind of criteria that they use as well. So you're right; it's not just all these numbers. It's not like, okay, well, who got the most sales and things like that? Because okay, let's all be honest. If we looked at that, like you said with the Rolling Stones, best artists of all time, they're probably the most selling. They've performed the most live concerts, things like that. But when you look at Taylor, I mean, if you're looking in the 21st century pop stars, like she would have it completely, I would say.
Yeah, I think so too. Which
is, like you said, when you see Beyonce in here, there's definitely some subjectivity in this kind of thing. Now, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a shocking question, Dixon. Do you agree with putting Beyonce? Actually, we'll focus in on this. Do you agree with putting Beyonce above Taylor Swift for 1 and 2? Do you agree with that?
So I guess so, and I'll say why. Beyonce's been doing this a lot longer than Taylor Swift, and you could think about Beyonce started in the 90s with Destiny's Child, and that kind of crossed over into the new millennium, if you will, this new 21st century. She then kind of established her own in the early 2000s. Remember when she was in Austin Powers?
Yeah, that was a little sidestep for her. That was pretty random. I do remember that.
Yeah, everybody forgets that moment of Beyonce's career when she was in
weird.
Austin Powers movie. It is kind of weird. So I guess you could say the longevity does make sense. I think that Taylor Swift is, over the last, say, I don't know, 10, 12 years, has really sort of dominated that pop music scene.
Yes, 100%.
So I think that's certainly a factor. And I really respect them for that. I think you're considering Beyonce's quote legacy and her previous work that led up to her impact in the 21st century. Like I said, if it was going by sales, I think it would be Taylor Swift by a mile. So I guess some surprises. I'm just going to read out the list and we'll see.
Yeah.
So you have 1 to 25. So you have Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Rihanna, Drake, Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, Kanye West, Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Adele, Usher, Eminem, Nicki Minaj, Justin Timberlake, Miley Cyrus, Jay-Z, Shakira, The Weeknd, BTS, Bruno Mars, Lil Wayne, One Direction, Bad Bunny, Ed Sheeran, and Katy Perry. So
yeah,
I mean, the first surprise that I see is Britney Spears.
See, no, maybe she shouldn't have been this high up on the list, but I'm looking at this almost as influence. And going back to like the number 1 and 2, I think Beyonce probably had more influence on the music industry, maybe as a whole, as opposed to Taylor Swift, who just has an influence on her audience, I guess.
Okay, yeah, good point. Good point. Really good point. Yeah.
If that makes sense. So when you look at Britney Spears, she had a crazy following, but I feel like she influenced a lot of not even the music industry, but like pop culture at the time. Like she was an icon at the time, and it was and she was making all this music, and you could say whether it's good or not, but I mean, she was there and she was in it, and she was everywhere. Like if you grew up in the 90s, you couldn't look anywhere without I'm sorry, in the 2000s, you couldn't look anywhere without seeing her.
Yeah. Remember that whole thing with the Pepsi halftime show, and she had the whole it was basically a Britney Spears concert and everything else.
Yes.
And then she had the thing with Madonna. Was that the same Super Bowl? She K'd Madonna live on stage.
Yeah, I think and that was like the biggest thing ever. It was like the first time we've ever seen something like that on TV.
So that when you put it like that, that does make sense. It does make sense because once again, I think you're going back to the late 90s, coming into that early 2000s. That she kind of, I think, probably fizzled out like 2005 maybe.
Yes.
And kind of working through some things recently, but as far as the pop culture moments, you're right. She has so many of them. When shaving your head, the K, the Kiss, the commercialism, everything. She's been everywhere.
Right. And
yeah, good.
So that one was that one made sense to me in a way. I was surprised it was so far up.
Yeah.
I was also kind of surprised, and looking right here, Lady Gaga. I mean, she was like a huge influence. What was that, like 2010s, I guess? Kind of like the Katy Perry era, and like kind of around there. Right. I don't know how much of an influence she might have had on the music industry. I could be totally wrong on this, but I know that she was super popular then. I mean, she still has a big following now, but I don't know if I would put her this high up on the list. That's just me.
That's a good question. I think, like you said, that almost seems to me like a Taylor Swift moment where Lady Gaga was the thing, the person for her audience for many years, probably still is. But remember, she had like that really like solid run, probably like 2 or 3 years, like I said, the 2010s, where it was just like Lady Gaga album after album, and she's everywhere, and then she was in that movie and all that other stuff. I think that you make a solid point there too. That might be a little bit generous, considering that it was kind of a really quick span.
I think so. I'd like to know. I'd like to know their reasoning behind that, but I mean, Poker Face is like an iconic song. I feel like a lot of people know that. That's a big one.
Well, that song.
Yeah, that's a good one. What do you think about what about 3 and 4, Rihanna and Drake? What do you think about that?
Rihanna has a lot more fans than I think I realized. I'm not a Rihanna fan. Everybody thinks, oh, Rihanna, she's so sexy, she's so whatever. I don't find her that attractive. I don't like her music. I don't dislike her. I don't think she's bad. I'm just not a huge fan of Rihanna. But when I talk to people, everybody's like, oh my gosh, Rihanna. Everybody loves Rihanna. And so maybe that's a reality.
I guess so. I guess she just has this really dedicated following. But I'm trying to think back to, growing up. I just don't remember Rihanna like really being in there. I mean, I could say Britney Spears, even Lady Gaga, even more so. But maybe I just wasn't in that zone of like Rihanna influence that I just don't remember. I will say I was actually listening to a song yesterday. Quick aside, remember when we reviewed Tame Impala?
Yes.
Rihanna did an amazing cover of one of their songs, Same Old Mistakes. And that's actually and I remember listening to that. I'm like, oh, this is an amazing song. This is great. It turns out it's by friggin' Tame Impala. But anyway, so
that is surprising. That is really cool, though.
I know, kind of a weird crossover, but she could really belt it out in that song. She got some good vocals for sure.
Maybe I'll have to check it. Maybe I'll have to revisit Rihanna. I don't know.
I want to revisit Rihanna. I also want to revisit Tame Impala, but that's another aside.
Also good.
I was just listening to it yesterday. And I'm like, you know what? maybe I didn't give Tame Impala a chance. Maybe Rihanna made me see the light.
Yes. That talk about, see, there you go. Cultural influence. She brought you back to something you didn't even know you wanted to get back to. There you go.
Exactly. And just really quick about that Drake. Now,
yes, about Drake. Yes,
me and you have listened to some Drake songs. We really like some of his stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you go into just someone's house for a party or something, there's some white guy there. He probably loves Drake. There's probably at least one white guy in there who loves Drake, and they love it. And that's the kind of influence he's had. And he's had a lot of hits. He's had a lot of success, obviously. A lot of beef back and forth recently, but you can't deny his influence. And he's been going strong for a while. Yeah,
Drake's everywhere. He had all those albums, Martin's Room and Nothing Was the Same. And all those albums when they came out, everybody had that album. And that was like I think the last one was like the midnight download. Like, oh, we got to listen to this right away.
Yeah.
For us anyway, you know what I mean?
For us, absolutely.
But there's always a Drake song playing somewhere, wherever you are.
Right.
And like I said, in the headlines recently with beef and his schlong, he made an appearance on the internet, I guess. I don't know. But so speaking of that, here's another aside. So I went to college with a girl. She was dating a friend of mine, and she had, now this is like 2011, 2012.
Okay.
When Drake was like when he had all those string of Drake albums, plus he was on Degrassi and The Wheelchair and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
She had the October's very own, the owl, like the owl logo. She had that tattooed on the entire side of her abdomen, like on her whole half of her trunk.
Wow.
Was tattooed with that owl.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, that's dedication. And
I
I was just talking about that a few weeks ago because I wonder where she is, what she's doing, if she has any regrets at all about that tattoo.
I mean, I feel like I would, but I mean that's up to her for doing what she wants. I mean, that's fine.
That's Drake.
I mean, that's Drake for you. Just
yeah.
That amount of influence right there. I mean, it's a cool logo, but yeah, there you go. People are getting tattoos, and that was, right back when he was getting popular. So yeah, I could totally see him being that high up on the list.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know about you, but all of these make sense to me. The rest of them make sense to me, except I guess I have 2 points. BTS. BTS has been around for, I don't know, 3 years. They're relatively new, right? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, I'm pretty sure they're relatively new. We're probably going to get attacked for this because I feel like BTS has a huge following. I mean, these Korean or the K-pop bands have probably more rabid fans than Taylor Swift fans. I'm not even joking, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that essentially, possibly the founders of K-pop. So I guess that makes sense. When you think about like a cultural, I don't know if you want to say revolution, but a cultural evolution, a cultural focus. And they're essentially the catalyst of that. I guess I get it, but they're just so, I think, new if you're considering a time period of 25 years in reality.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I'm looking right here. It says they formed in 2013.
Oh, wow. Maybe we're behind.
I'm sorry, they formed in 2010.
Oh, wow. Okay,
and so, then they started to rise to popularity. So, again, maybe it's just one of those things that's just not in our zone of influence, and we just haven't really been touched by their music in a way. But yeah, to be like formative around this like K-pop stuff, I mean, it blew up. And now people are super, super diehard fans, and I think it's here in America too. A lot of people love them. So I guess I could understand in that aspect. Not that I would know personally, but I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. It's the truth when you consider that K-pop thing. Now, this is the one I really have no idea, and maybe this is going back to our limited scope. Bad Bunny at number 23. If you ask me a Bad Bunny song, I don't think I could even pick one out.
This has perplexed me for such a long time, Dixon. So you know how I'm on the internet a lot. I'm what we call a chronic online internet user, chronically online, as you just said.
User.
But this Bad Bunny just pops up randomly, and someone just mentions him, and I'm like, who is this Bad? I have no idea who this is. Never heard a song by him. He's a Puerto Rican rapper.
Yes, I recall him. I heard about him recently during the election because he made quite the definitive statement. He was supporting Kamala Harris and for the good of Puerto Rico and all these kind of things.
Right, and because there was that whole thing about
the Puerto Rican, the garbage floating or whatever. Yes,
all that stuff. But yeah, I will say I've never ever heard a song by this. I mean, do they play him on the radio around here, or he's on like the top hits or anything? I don't know.
I don't know. I can't say I've ever heard a Bad Bunny song in my life. And now I'm a big. Now you know me. I can bust a move, as the kids say.
Of course. Oh, I know you can. Yeah. You guys listening have no idea.
As can you. And the thing is I'm a fan of this Latin.
I am too.
You like it. You like it too. You do.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
And that song, I love that song. I don't know one single bad. It's not that I'm opposed to it. I send us if you're a Bad Bunny fan, comment your favorite song of Bad Bunny, because I have no idea what Bad Bunny even does or what he sounds like.
I know. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him. I don't know the genre. I don't know his mood. What his influences are. Anything. I have no idea. But I will say, I understand him being on this list in the fact that he will just randomly pop up in internet conversations. Just
gotcha.
I can't even. The context is everywhere. He could just be brought up for some reason. And that's it. I mean, that's just how much he's in the heads of these people that listen to him. So, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I guess you make a good point. Like I said, if being the online and he's around, I could see that. I haven't come across that yet. I know who. Like I said, I'm aware of him. I just don't know anything he does or what he is. But once again, if he's that popular, he might be taking Puerto Rican or Latin music or hip hop, I don't know, to a next level.
Right,
is what it sounds like. So good for Bad Bunny for making an appearance. So I do want to make a comment, and the reason why I found this list, I was scrolling Instagram and I was checking up on our girl Lana Del Rey, and I wanted to see because she posted when her new country album is coming out. It's coming out May 21st, I believe, of 2025.
Ooh, I'm marking that down right now.
Yes. So I looked at her posts, and then I happened to scroll over. You get the suggested post after you look at one post. You look at one post of an alligator, you get pictures of alligators for the rest of your life. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. So I found that the Lana Del Rey stans are very unhappy that Lana Del Rey is not included in this list. And
really?
It begs the question, should she be on this list? Is this another one? Now, once again, if we're going by, now Taylor Swift obviously is crossed over, right? Beyonce is crossed over. I think Lana Del Rey might be on the same plane as Lady Gaga in the sense that her audience is her audience and they're diehard and they don't want to listen to anything else. Taylor Swift has that too, but of course she's gotten into the more so on the mainstream and everybody's aware of her. Should she be on this list given the criteria? Did they make a mistake? Yeah, I don't know if I consider what we just talked about, because you've been very objective this whole time, and I really appreciate that.
I'm trying.
I just want to know your thoughts.
Now, Lana Del Rey obviously has a huge influence.
Yes,
but now what you're saying is that her fans are happy that she's not on here.
She's unhappy, very unhappy.
I'm sorry, she's very unhappy. Okay,
they're not.
That was some kind
they are not.
Okay, that makes sense. So, I'll tell you right now, I could look at this list and I could probably replace someone really quick with Lana Del Rey.
Okay. Yeah.
In my opinion, because I feel like she's had an influence in ways that these other people haven't. But let me ask you this: I get that she is a pop star, but do you think she's mainstream enough for Billboard? Nothing against like her talent and like her success, because she's been extremely successful.
Right.
But is Billboard, are they too like focused on like this poppy, everyone's going to love these kind of artists? Or is it just that Lana Del Rey is like too artistic? I almost feel like she's probably hard to pick up for some people.
I can understand that.
And maybe that's why they didn't do it. That's my thoughts on that.
You make a good point with that, but I think if I think about cultural moments, right? So remember Lana Del Rey's SNL skit where she was just standing there and everybody made fun of her for no reason. I don't know what it was, but there's that. And then I think probably over the last year or the last few years, Lana Del Rey has been more in the specter. She's been playing festivals, which I don't think she really ever played festivals before. She's out there. She collaborated with Billie Eilish. She's has a crossover that now Taylor Swift and her are friends, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Is it too little too late on Lana Del Rey's part to be included in this list? But I think if we're considering artists like, let's say like Bad Bunny, right? I feel like Lana Del Rey comes up in the chronically online sphere, unless in my corner of what I see more often than not. If we're considering that, I think you gotta at least put her somewhere there. And you made the good point. Is she too artsy, quote, whatever, to be on this mainstream list? Possibly. But I think if you're considering some of these other things, you could probably replace one or two of these people with at least with Lana Del Rey.
Right. And again, yeah, I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve to be on the list, but it might be like too, again, I don't want to sound like pretentious about it, but like too highbrow almost for someone making this list to be like,
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? Because you got Britney Spears on here, and then imagine her next to put her music next to Lana Del Rey. Like
I'm with you.
It is. It's different, but point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's exactly right. I think I think that's kind of solidifies it, because that highbrow, that inaccessibility, and maybe that mainstream cultural influence isn't there. But I do think that if I could make a change besides adding Lana Del Rey somewhere, I think I would swap Britney Spears and Adele. I think Adele is just one of these once in a lifetime artists.
Yes.
I think she gets a fair amount of praise, but I think she's underrated in aspects. And if Taylor Swift fans would just open their ears and stan Adele like they do Taylor Swift and hear some raw, emotional, good music, and all those albums, Grammys and records and everything else, and she's just kind of like, you know what? No, I've had enough. I'm taking a break. Or she does her thing. She does what she wants. She doesn't pressure. She's not under any pressure from any label or industry, and that's really refreshing. And I think that she should be a little bit higher on this list.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would absolutely swap her and Britney Spears for sure. I think, Adele had that huge moment where she was extremely popular. She had all these hit songs. Everyone knew who she was. I mean, she's an amazingly talented singer. I think she had a lot of influence. Yeah, I totally agree. And like you said, she's obviously passionate about what she does. She's not churning music out just to do it.
Right.
But she is a pop idol, and she said, okay, I'm done. And that was pretty much it. But so she came and she had her influence, and then she left. But I totally agree. I'm glad she's on the list. Yeah, she could have been higher up for sure.
For sure. For sure. Absolutely. Now, are you ready to consider a question I'm going to pose after we just broke this down?
Yes, let's hear it.
Now, do you think so? Now we just talked about this list. And if we're going by the list, if we're going like on the eye test of this list, Taylor Swift should probably be number one, right? In reality, maybe, right? Would we agree on that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Do you think there's any pressure from Billboard, given the recent shocking revelations we've heard about Beyonce, to sort of bow down to Beyonce, to be on Beyonce's good side, to be out of the crosshairs of Beyonce and Jay-Z, who seem to be eliminating enemies left and right, or at least intimidating people? Do you think this might be a factor here?
I really think so. I totally agree with you. Taylor Swift, as much as we bust on her and poke fun, Taylor Swift should have gotten this spot. There's no doubt. She might not have been in the game as long as Beyonce. Okay, we all get it. That's fine. But you can't deny Taylor Swift's influence, or influence on her fans, like I said before.
Yes.
And I did say that Beyonce had maybe more influence on the music industry, but I think if you look at it overall, take it overall and put all of the pros into each of them, I think Taylor Swift just outweighs her by quite a bit, I would say.
No, I think you're right. I think you have to consider that fact that there's something going on with Beyonce and Jay-Z, and I think it's fair to ask that question. I think it's fair to ask the question: what is going on with Jay-Z and Beyonce?
What is going on?
What is going on? And all of a sudden, she is ranked as the greatest pop star of the 21st century. It's a hard. You have to make that connection somewhere along the lines.
Right. You just have to ask these questions. Why is she number one over Taylor Swift? And you're right. These kind of, and you know what, Dixon, I've never trusted Jay-Z. I don't know what it is about that guy. Her and Beyonce together are trouble. That's all. That is pure New York City trouble. And I don't want to be anywhere near that.
We don't want any part of it. Take your NYC stuff and get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of my face. Go do your crimes elsewhere. Intimidate people elsewhere. But I mean, and God knows what they're doing with Diddy. Who knows what happened there? I mean,
there's also a good point.
There's all this. I mean, I think we're gonna have to do an episode on that once all this gets blown wide open. I mean, that's one of the most influential people in the music industry.
Yeah,
blown
that's
up
a really
like
good
this.
point too.
And who knows? Jay-Z and Beyonce might be involved in it. So.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, and that's a really good point. Is maybe Diddy should have been on this list. I mean, from a production standpoint.
Honestly, yeah, probably. I mean, besides the horrible things he's done, I mean, he's definitely been one of the most influential people in the music industry ever, I would say.
Sure. I mean, Kanye West made the cut. I mean, come on now.
I know, right? So.
Oh man, interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I believe in that whole Jay-Z Beyonce conspiracy. The vibe is off with them. Just look at any video of them at like some award show. I just don't trust it.
There's a vibe. I found that something came across my feed the other day. It was Jay-Z with a glass of wine, and it looks like the wine is very, very almost not so much a burgundy, but like a really like stereotypical red, almost the color of blood, and it has the same consistency from a bird's eye perspective of blood. So who knows? I mean, Jay-Z, he's drinking blood. They're whatever. I don't know, man. You don't know what to believe.
I'm just it's trouble. That's all I'm saying. Trouble. They're trouble.
We better stop talking about this.
I know. Yeah, we're gonna get flagged or something.
So we have a pivot here, and I think it's another good pivot. And if you're ready for it, another important list of the year, which is your Spotify Wrapped. Are you in a position to talk about this?
This is a very oh man, it's a very strange list that I have.
If you don't want to talk about
very neurodivergent, I would say, based on
because you know this is Spotify Wrapped week, right? This week.
Yes.
I don't have Spotify. I prefer compact discs. So I've never experienced the thrill of getting a Spotify Wrapped. And I understand there's ways you could probably torque or tweak the algorithm starting like today and then get into the next November, all these kind of things. There's all different things I guess you could play with. But I mentioned to you possibly talking about your Spotify Wrapped and seeing how it played out.
Yeah, no, I could definitely go through it quickly. It's very interesting. And you know what? Before I start, you mentioned like kind of gaming the algorithm, and not that I was doing it purposely, but there was a song that I found, and I'm like, wow, this is an amazing song. It's like a jam. And you know those songs that you play and repeat over and over and over. That's kind of what I did with this song. Yeah. And I'm like, I know that I played this like more than probably anything else like in my whole library, and it didn't even show up. Not even
interesting.
Nothing at all. Yeah, it was kind of weird. It's almost like I wonder if they kind of take out the little outliers. But anyway,
yeah.
I want to mention this as well. So okay, you have your top 5 artists and top 5 songs. That's like the amalgamation of everything. They give you little stats and everything, but that's what you get at the end. Top 5 artists, top 5 songs. But here's the issue. If listeners remember, we reviewed the Vultures album that Kanye and T.Y. Dolla $ign released.
Yes.
So here's the problem. Because one of those songs was on my top list, it flooded my top artist with Kanye, T.Y. Dolla $ign, and then Y $, their combined names.
Oh, okay.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. So
right.
Those are your top 3 artists.
Yeah, that's my top 3 artists.
Because so funny.
Because of the one friggin' song that's on there. So because it doesn't just have Y $ign on there. It attributes it to 3 different artists, and it floods your artist with that. So I kind of got, yeah. So unfortunately, this might be a little skewed, but here we go.
Okay. All right.
I mentioned this to you. I'll go through my top songs here because they're more interesting and more varied. So my number 1 song, I don't even know how this happened. It's "Back to Me" by Kanye, and T.Y. Dolla $ign from the Vultures album. I do love this song. It's the beautiful big titty, beautiful butt naked big titty women. I love that song too. I absolutely love that song. It's so funny. The rap in it is so good. I love it. Yeah, that's a really good one. My next one is "Push" by Skrillex.
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
I love that song. Really hypes me up. My third, and we were just talking about some Latin music here, is Pep. I don't even know how to say it. Pepas by Farruko.
Oh yeah, I love that song.
Isn't that a jam?
I love that song. I love the remix too with Tiesto.
Oh, I never heard that one. I'm gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah, you gotta check that out. That's we always say that my fiance and I, it's gonna be our wedding song because we freaking love that song.
I love it. Yeah, that's a jam. Absolutely love it.
That is a jam.
Another one that's a jam. People might not like this because it's overplayed. A bar song. by Shaboozey.
Who cares?
I know.
That's classic.
I
That's
love
a
it.
good one.
It's a fun song. It's a really fun song.
That is a good one.
And then finally, this is kind of where the neurodivergency comes in. It's All My Fellas, which is a obscure internet song that kind of blew up and it was viral and only people online would really know that. But it's literally some guy who just made a All My Fellas.
Okay.
You might know it. It's like this kind of like hyper pop song and it just says All My Fellas and it just plays like a beat and it says All My Fellas. It just keeps doing that over and over again.
I haven't heard that. I'm gonna look that up. That actually sounds really good. I would be into that too.
it's a really catchy song. I don't even know where I heard it, but I'm like, oh, this is like kind of cool. And it's just some guy who uploaded it to YouTube and he has like one song and this one just like went viral. So
look at him. He cracked the top 5.
I know. And he cracked the top 5 of my list. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything. We got Hardy on my artist. Really love Hardy. Probably one of my favorite country rock artists. I know he's good. Seen as cheesy, but it is what it is. I like to listen to him. I really think he's good. He knows how to write for sure. But
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I would say that's a well-rounded list in reality.
Yeah, not too bad. The songs really show more of like of what my listening habits are than the artist, but yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I wonder, like I said, maybe I should get Spotify now and see what my Spotify rap would be. Yeah. I already have an idea. I know we'll talk about at the end of the year. We'll talk about our favorite song or what we think is the best song of 2024.
Yeah.
I already have it in mind what I'm going to play or consider because I just recently discovered it over the last couple months. And so I'll save it for that. But I think that would probably maybe get to the top of my Spotify if I had one.
I like this. Yeah, I have a song in mind as well, and I have a runner-up.
Oh, good.
Honorable mention.
Oh,
so
perfect. Well, there you go. Look at that. We're prepared.
Can't wait.
Some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
A packed show, if you will.
Absolutely. Had a lot of fun. And now we gave props to everyone. Hopefully we mended everything up. No one hates us. Maybe, actually, Beyonce and Jay-Z fans hate us now, so we'll have them attack us.
Yes. Sure.
Always something.
Always something. Always good. So yeah. So comment something good,
please. We need it so bad.
It's so bad. God, if all those Bad Bunny fans out there or the BTS fans, share your favorite song, album, whatever, because we want to hear it. Because we're open minded. We want to hear it. We'll give it a fair shake, and let us know.
Yeah, maybe getting into next year, we could listen to them for the first time. Maybe we'll see.
We shall see. Hopefully that happens.
And we got some good stuff coming up in December. I'm very excited for possibly the next episode.
Yes. We have a couple. I think we have in my mind, I have 3 episodes planned. So we talked about our wrap up of the year. We have a special Christmas album we're going to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And I'll talk to you behind the scenes, but I think we're going to give somebody some credit with a particular Christmas song as well.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how you think about that.
We'll love it. All right, guys. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.